Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani recently said the Republican Party's stance on same-sex marriage makes it look like it doesn't understand the modern world. Mayor Giuliani joins us now in Studio 57. What do you think of this decision by the president at this time?
Well, I think it's a political decision. I mean, the president was for same-sex marriage before he was against it, and now he's for it again. People forget that back in 1997, 98, when he ran for the state senate in Illinois, he was in favor of same-sex marriage. Then when he decided to run for the presidency, he became against same-sex marriage. Now he's for it. So I think it'll help with his base. I think it'll hurt a little in showing the shifting positions that he'll take on a moral issue like this, because he's for it, against it, for it. But I think it's only marginal. I mean, it depends on how is this going to play in Ohio, how is this going to play in North Carolina, how is this going to play in those 10 states that matter.
So you are suggesting the president was always here. He's just come to announce where he was in his own head,
if he was
in
there,
his own heart.
If he was there when he was running for the state senate as a young man, then all of a sudden he's running for president, he changes it completely, and now he's for it again. I think the president was always there, sure. And I think, and maybe, I don't know if Joe Biden kind of forced him into it by making a mistake, which wouldn't be unusual for Joe Biden, or this was a calculated a trial balloon.
The plan suggested it was not a trial balloon, but in fact it forced the president because he wanted to do it sometime of his own choosing. There is this question: where do you think the country is in terms of polls?
The country's even. But the real issue is, where is the country in the 10 states to decide this election? He's going to go to California tonight. Big hero with the Hollywood crowd doing this. Doesn't matter. He's going to win California. Texas going to be against it. Doesn't matter. However, how does it play in Ohio? How does it play in Wisconsin? How does it play in North Carolina? How does it play in Virginia?
How does it play in those states?
It plays against him there. And Ohio just passed a big amendment banning same-sex marriage.
North Carolina.
And North Carolina did too, right.
But you are closer to the president of the United States on this issue than you are to the likely Republican candidate.
I'm in the middle. I'm
for
domestic partnerships. I signed the first law in America when I was mayor of New York, and the second one.
You're for civil marriage?
But I am for marriage between a man and a woman.
Yeah, but you're for civil marriage, and that's where the president was, and that's where.
Well, I think that's the right.
Governor Romney
I think that's the right distinction. I think under the laws of the state, gays and lesbians should be treated exactly like everyone else. Under the law of how you define marriage, which comes out of our religious tradition, our moral tradition, our ethical tradition, and all these other things, which I might be okay with, but a lot of people aren't. I think you respect that. And I'd also be willing to respect the decision of the states. If New York wants to have it, which we did, I wasn't a big opponent of that. I would prefer if we didn't, but I'm not a big opponent of it. But if North Carolina doesn't want to have it, it shouldn't be forced to have it.
How much focus should there be on this issue in the campaign? Because you've said in the past, Republican Party should get the heck out of the bedroom. But you followed up, the rest of that statement was, you went on to say the Republican Party really needs to get back to its base and would be more successful if it focused on the economy, which John Boehner was sort of pushing towards yesterday. Is that a better focus for your party?
I think it is. And I think Governor Romney reflected that in his statement yesterday. He said this is a very sensitive issue. He didn't talk about it in terms of what other people should believe. He talked about it in terms of what he believed. He said, for me personally, I favor marriage between a man and a woman. But he basically said, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. And I think that's really why Romney will be a good candidate for the Republican Party. This is not something he's going to make a big issue out of. And he shouldn't. I think this is going to work for or against the president on its own. Republicans should stay the heck out of it.
And speaking of Mitt Romney, because as we started this, you were talking a little bit about for it, then against it, then for it again with President Obama. You said last year, talking about Mitt Romney, you'd never seen a guy change his position so many times so fast on a dime.
So now I just saw somebody who changed it even faster. I think that President Obama doing this can moderate some of that criticism of Mitt Romney, because it's going to be very hard for the president to say, oh my goodness, you know, Mitt Romney changed his position on pro-choice, pro-life, whereas he's changed his position now dramatically on gay rights, going back over a 10-year period. So maybe in this sense, it helps Romney because it takes that issue out of the election. It can be hard for Obama to criticize him for being a shifter on positions when this is a major shift.
Yeah, but there's some disagreement in terms of what the president seems to be saying about his previous position.
Well, no, it isn't. I just read it. President came out when he was running for the state senate and said, I am for same-sex marriage, when he was running for the Senate. Then when he was running for president, he said, I believe it should be
So you think
between a
this
man
is
and
a political decision more than a personal decision influenced by family and friends, as he said yesterday?
So now I'll do what I hate. I'm going to play psychologist. I believe this is what President Obama has always believed. I believe his position back when he ran for the Senate is the honest one. I think this is the honest one. I think in between, he took a dishonest position because he didn't think that he could get nominated. After all, he took the same position Hillary Clinton took. Hillary Clinton had the same position I have. For marriage between a man and a woman in favor of domestic partnership. I still think that's the right answer, and then leave it up to the states to decide.
Is this an idea whose time has come?
We're going to find out. You know, its time has come in New York. Its time has not come in North Carolina, and that's why this is such a wonderful country. States can have different views on these things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck. This is a great set and a really exciting program.
We're glad you like it.
Very
Come
much.
back.
Unexpected. Thank you.